What up, what up, what up? Thank you for tuning in to the Swish Masters Podcast, and thank you to our sponsor, SS96. Visit ss96.net and use the promo code Swish Masters for 15% off. Yeah, that's right. You heard me right. 15% off on all store items. Hats, hoodies, t-shirts, whatever you need, SS96 has it. Also, don't forget to go and check out that music from Straight Stoner, produced by yours truly. You know what it is, Gut Gang, mobbing, sleepwalking. We out here. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Swish Masters Podcast.
Pick your head up, man.
I'm your co-host, QtheGuru.
That is your co-host, QtheGuru. What up? I'm Zay, the executive producer, man. Q, how you feeling, man? What's up?
I mean, listen.
Holy cannoli.
I can't even look at you right now, bro.
Oh, man.
It's hard. I honestly started feeling sick.
Oh, man. Heavy as the head of a person who picked this up.
I was thinking about texting you to, like, maybe I can't do the show tonight.
Oh, man.
It was close, man. I was not feeling well, man.
Oh, man.
My head was hurting. I don't know what it was. It ain't start hurting like that till I started watching this game tonight. So whatever's going on with the Celtics kind of transferred to me as a fan watching the game. So
yeah, man.
Let's go ahead and get to it. The Warriors win the NBA Finals in 6 games.
Yes, sir.
Zay predicted in 7, so technically he's wrong tonight too, y'all. Technically he's wrong.
To be fair, I did say 7, yes.
You did.
But I was leaning, like, I was thinking 6, but I was like, I'm gonna give the Celtics 7 because I respect them. But I still picked the Warriors to win. I didn't pick the Celtics. So
yeah. All right, I'm gonna let you have the full first since you at least got the team right. Go ahead.
Man, it's I'm not a Warriors fan, but I have to shout out to the Warriors, to their organization, to the fans, to my younger brother, who's a recent Warriors fan, I'll say. Shout out to them. They played a hell of a game. Steph was great. Draymond finally came back to life. Andrew Wiggins, I've been big on him in this entire playoffs, man. So just shout out to them, man. It's exciting to see them come back after a 2-year absence, you know what I mean, of not winning and having their ups and downs. Seeing Klay Thompson come back from his injuries, it's inspiring. They played inspired basketball, and the Celtics, man, they just looked a little mentally checked out to me. But I have to say, I'm happy to see these guys get another chip and keep on, keep it moving. So shout out to the Warriors and a well played, series and playoffs for the Celtics, no doubt. up to this point at least for the Celtics.
I don't know about well played. It was a series that was played by the Celtics. These last couple of games have been the same thing over and over. If you've been watching the podcast or listening to it, I've been saying the same thing these past couple of games with these Celtics. Same thing. Same exact thing. But I want to give the flowers to the Golden State Warriors. They definitely deserve it. It's well deserved. We'll get into all the great things for the Warriors and what this can mean for them, and what it means for one particular player, Steph Curry. So we're gonna get into all that. So let's go ahead and talk about. Oh wait, before we go to the other part, this game was technically over in the second quarter. In that second quarter, honestly, the Celtics never rallied back from that. Hold on, let me go back. It actually was over on a 21-0 run. The longest run ever in the finals game. 21-0. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Nothing. No stops. No scoring. It's like the Celtics were just out of themselves once the Warriors started fighting back. I mean, the Celtics had a great start. Awesome start. 12-2 run. Good start. And just the Warriors just got it going. And they could just not get the stops. And they could not counter the scoring. There are a lot of things I saw that we're going to talk about. But it was honestly over after that run. And they just never got themselves. Yeah, they made a little bit interesting at the end, but it's like the same mistakes, the same mental lapses that we'll get into. But first, let's go ahead and talk about what was just announced. Steph Curry wins Finals MVP. And honestly, it was starting to be a discussion. It was either to be him or Andrew Wiggins. And Wiggins had another good game today. You know, he was a key player tonight as well. Yeah, 18, 6, and 5. That's pretty good. He's been consistent with that. Klay only had 12, although at certain points it was looking like, okay, Klay could get hot, but he is still, you know, he didn't get a chance to be the Game 6 Klay of old.
I was looking for Game 6 Klay.
Yeah, it was looking like for a second early on, but he actually finished inefficient, like 5 of 20. But the key story of the game,
he was cheating it up.
Yeah, he was. It wasn't good. The key story of the game is still just Steph Curry. Steph Curry, and he deserves Finals MVP for this. He finished with 34 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. He actually got some steals as well. Curry has really improved as a defender, and that kind of showed tonight too. So yeah,
it's like defense when it matters.
Yeah, he does. So, your reaction to Steph winning Finals MVP?
I definitely think Steph has earned this Finals MVP trophy, and I think he started to speak to it a little bit. A lot of people have been, talking about if he's a clutch player, if he's the best player, can be the best player on a championship team, can he be the best player in the finals? And in this series, he proved that, putting the team on his back, dropping 43 points in opposite territory instead of at home. Even in some games, not having the greatest shooting nights or biggest scoring impact, but finding ways to impact the game. Like you said tonight, he played defense. A lot of people have questioned his defensive ability. We know how well Steph can shoot the ball, and we know that he can make plays. We saw that he can finish. And I think without him, you take him out of this team for significant stretches of the game, they don't get the championship. So I definitely think that you cannot deny his impact on this team, on the game of basketball, and I'm definitely happy to see him get. It's kind of like he's getting over the hump in a way, because people always have looked at his, accolades and they're like, oh, you don't have Finals MVP, so now he can check that off the list, and he's got to improve that he can be the best guy on the team in the finals. So I'm definitely happy for him, and I think he went out there and earned it and showed that he is a all-time great in the NBA.
Yeah, once he got it, only thing I could think about was well deserved. You can literally see the emotion on him.
He worked for it.
He did. Before the clock even fully ran out, you could see it, and you can tell this one really means a lot. This trophy is different, and throughout the whole trophy presentation, it's like every speaker was like, "All right, this is different," or "This has been building for 10, 11 years, and this is what this is about." And for me, it's like the narrative is now like, okay, this is definitely all because of Steph. But in the back of my head, I'm like, they also had like one of the best teams ever assembled a couple years ago. So in the back of my head, I'm gonna think about this a little bit more, because I don't want to take away from Steph's night at all. So I want to give him his flowers. But back in my head, I'm like, okay, is this kind of referendum of like KD and what he decided to do? We can probably talk about that another day though. But that's honestly one of the thoughts in the back of my head. It was because it's a consistent theme. So, but it's something been working towards. Steph has been drafted by the franchise, groomed by the franchise. They stuck with him through his injuries, and he literally is the superstar franchise player who we'll have to debate, and we'll talk about this a little later, where his status is in the NBA now, since he has a Finals MVP. We'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, shout out to Steph. He definitely deserved it. He played well. He carried his team to several wins in these finals. Just think about where they were just 2 years ago, right? I mean, within the past 2 years, they lost a play-in game. They also had one of the worst records in the league, which is how they got like a Wiseman and some of these other great players that they have that we haven't really seen yet. So,
true.
This Warriors team is here. But now, talk about the thing that I'm about tired talking about at this point, and I'm kind of glad this is over, so I don't have to talk about the Celtics for a minute. What went wrong? I'll start because this is a team I did pick, and the only reason I picked, if y'all remember, was because I didn't want to be the type of person to just switch. Although I said I was like 5% confident that they were actually winning, and it was looking good at first. The first couple minutes in the first quarter, I was like, okay, this is it. Good ball movement, good defense, great defense for a second there. I was like, I love the rotations, they're on it. And then the unforced turnovers happen again. Y'all, they finished with 22 turnovers tonight. They actually had like 12 turnovers before the half. I don't know what to say about these turnovers. I can't do it. The same things. And I also said that Jason Tatum had to have a good game. It's game 6. Guess what? Guess how many points he scored, man?
How many did he have, Q?
He had 13. Way less than his season average. He did not show up tonight. I give Jaylen Brown a little credit. He showed up. He at least made it interesting at the end and go on a little mini run on his own. But I said it had to be Jason Tatum, and he did not have it tonight. And these turnovers, man. 5 from Jason Tatum, 5 from Jaylen Brown, 3 from Al Horford, 3 from Marcus Smart. These turnovers are terrible.
Very unsatisfactory.
Man, these turnovers are terrible. Terrible. And that's honestly the story of the game again. It's the same story they say every time. Well, we got to take care of the ball. But you're not doing it. And it's something like some of it came from lazy passes. It was like, why would you do that pass? Why would you attempt that? It was just passes like that, and some turnovers that were like really result of like just not being solid and put together. I wonder if they just let the refs get to their head. And there was a lot of complaining tonight. You can see clearly from the beginning that they weren't calling it like previous playoff games in this series. They were not letting them play like they were earlier. This is very different from game one.
Yeah.
Game one, it was like they almost letting everything go. But as the Celtics, you kind of started in the first quarter. Marcus Smart with the drawing the fouls and some of the flopping. You see they're calling it.
Theatrics. Yeah.
Basically. So if they're calling it, you got to adjust. Especially you set the tone early on about how it's being called. At least you helped it. You got to adjust. Don't let it get to your head and just consume you. There's too much complaining. And complaining leads to you not getting back, not being focused. And we already talked about how they really need a playmaker to really expose mismatches. There were so many shots that I was like, why take this shot? Jaylen Brown in particular. And Jason Tatum, he had Steph Curry on him several instances tonight. And you're going to pass the ball?
Mm-hmm.
You got the height advantage. Al Horford too. He had the same thing. And Jaylen Brown, why continue these contested layup runner floaters when it's not working? I think I'd rather you take a. And Derek White was hesitant on threes. I was like, he's not confident to shoot tonight because he passed up several open jumpers tonight. It was bad. It was bad.
The pressure, man.
I guess it was the pressure. But I honestly, the finals is a different beast. But again, this is not the Celtics team I chose. I chose a team that beat the Nets. I chose a team that beat the Bucks. And just to be clear about the Nets, I chose a team that swept the Nets, so I thought I was doing pretty good here. This is not the same Celtics team. In my defense,
I guess
it's not.
The Celtics.
I don't know what Celtics these are.
It's the New Hampshire Celtics.
I don't know. But it was bad. That's basically it. It's Jason Tatum to step up. Same old turnovers. Too much complaining. I don't know. You let a great start that you had just deteriorate. And it's on them. And I always said this. They beat themselves. They kind of beat themselves up tonight too.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's it for right now. What you got? I don't want to take up all the time. You go ahead.
You good, man. It's okay, man. I told everyone in the chat, Celtics fans, this is a safe space. Let it out. Q, you can let it out. It's okay. Even though I did say the Warriors would win, I'm just relishing that for a second. I did say that, but anyway, we're wrong for the Celtics, man. They got off to a very good start. Went on a nice, 14-2 run in the first quarter, like you said. But I think after, I think they expected, the Warriors are going to bow down and because we went on a nice run in the first quarter. No. This is a championship pedigree team in the Warriors. They've been doing this for years. You heard Steph and Clay and Dre talk about it. They've been building this up for years. So at this stage, at this level, they were not going to let anything deteriorate them from the path. And I feel like the Celtics just weren't mentally checked into that. Once they saw that the Warriors didn't go down, they were like, oh, they're different. And that was it. That was their whole mental state. Like, oh, the Warriors are different. Because all of a sudden, 21-0 run. And from there, they just could not. They were playing catch-up the entire time. And it looked like they were playing lifeless basketball to me. I felt like the Celtics just were going through the motions after they lost the lead. They were like, oh, well, that's it. We can't do it. They have ultra confidence. And that's what it's about. It's just, as a team, you're at this level and you're at this stage, you're on your home court, you got to pull everything that you have. And I just think that they weren't ready for that. They weren't expecting to be punched in the mouth, for lack of better terms. And that's what the Warriors did. Then the actual things, Jason Tatum was not aggressive. I don't know how many shots he took, but he only had 13 points. And this is at least 20 to 25 point per game type of scorer. A guy that was getting compared to the level and ranking of Kevin Durant after they beat and swept the Nets, which has Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. So yeah, I'm expecting, a lot more of a takeover mode from Jason Tatum. That didn't happen. Like you said, as a team, they were playing kind of soft. They were expecting calls, complaining to the refs. You just got to go out and play. You didn't exploit these mismatches. If I'm Al Horford, Steph Curry is guarding me, I'm not passing out of a back down. It's one-on-one. They didn't even send help. Mark Jackson said it. That's disrespectful. The Warriors just disrespected the Celtics, and I'm 6'9", 6'10". I'm a career back to the basket type of scorer. I can shoot, and you pass the ball. What are you thinking? You're down. This is their best player, who's also 6'2", 6'3". You're 6'10". You can't take advantage of that matchup. I'm like, oh, this is all across the board bad. This is across the board bad. Jaylen Brown, he tried. I don't really have a lot to say about him. He tried, but it just wasn't enough. And once again, I think we talked about this last game. Where was the Celtics bench? Grant Williams, maybe a couple of shots. No Pritchard buckets, no Derek White buckets. They had no other source of energy on either end of the floor. And and Marcus Smart. You're the defensive player of the year, and Steph is just dribbling circles around you. He's getting to the basket, finishing. To me, that was the killer right there. It wasn't even about him making threes. We know Steph's gonna do that, but he was getting to the basket like easily, finishing over. Robert Williams. He had some key defensive stops, but you can't rely on an injured Robert Williams to defend every single shot at the basket. And then once he gets into a mismatch on the perimeter, what can they do? So, yeah, man, the Celtics, that's where championship mentality makes a huge difference. This is, to me, still a young team, a very inexperienced team. They had no players on their team that had been to the finals before, so they now have that experience. They know how it feels to lose, to take that into next season, and they are able to excel. And I think they'll be back. I think they have the capabilities, but tonight was just a horrible display of, simply lack of confidence to me. If they would have played with a little bit more confidence, this game would have been closer at least. But they were just out of it after seeing the Warriors stick with their game plan and come back and win the championship.
Yeah. Tell me why. And again, I agree with everything you said. How do you out-rebound it again? with these small lineup, man. You got these Al Horford, Robert Williams, these big athletic squad in the Celtics. You get
Tatum, 6'8", Jaylen Brown, 6'6", 6'7". They have the size advantage, and
they do.
Andrew Wiggins, getting on the boards. Draymond Green, big time on the boards tonight. Looney, even their guards. Steph, GP playing great defense as well. They got beaten every category tonight, and it's ridiculous because they have that type of size. My bad, I didn't mean to take over, but that was something else I didn't get to say, but I forgot.
Yeah, I just realized that too. When I was looking again, I was like, that was one thing I meant to say earlier. Yeah, you got out-rebounded. And you think you use your size to your advantage at least by going inside. Like they started that in the first quarter. I was like, that's good. Keep that going. Like, keep going what's working for you. They just deviated away from that. And it's like when the pressure kicks in, they start going ISO, or they rush shots and have these stupid turnovers. And I guess, like you said, it's really like that mentality that just wasn't there. And at first I thought there was still no excuses because they felt pressure. This team has been together for a little bit. At least Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. They've been to conference finals before. But again, this is their first chance at the finals, true. And the finals is a different beast. I give you that. But they were just so outside themselves, especially Jason Tatum, where it was like, okay, you, sir, I can make an argument that he choked. You could. Choking to me is like you don't perform to your at least regular season level.
To your average.
At least to your average. He was below average multiple times in this series. At least Jaylen Brown was trying. He showed more of an alpha mentality than Jason did tonight. Even though some of his shots were questionable in my opinion, but at least he was trying, and you could see it. And Jason Tatum's, he wasn't there as much. So that's the next thing he needs, honestly. Just get past that hump. Wear your Kobe sleeve again, something to help inspire you. He didn't wear that tonight, like something.
Yeah.
Because he wants to be at that level, but it's like now I'm questioning the whole thing now. Just because he didn't show up. It's different if he showed up and they still lost. It's just the fact he did not show up at all. And I got the shots he took. He took 18 shots. Jaylen Brown took 23. You could at least get 20 up. This is game 6. You got a chance to defend. You got to try to get to game 7. You should have the green light. But he was hesitant a lot.
How many free throws did Jason Tatum attempt?
None. Good point. Then that shows you how he was playing. Although he was complaining a lot, like, hey, I got fouled, when I ain't seen anything much, but still. You gotta just keep going. Keep driving.
Yeah. That's what I mean by you have to have the mentality of I'm not going to get anything handed to me. I'm not going to get calls. You just have to expect that. You just have to go in there. You got to finish. And I know he loves to Euro step and, use certain moves and stuff like that. But sometimes you just got to go strong to the basket, get contact. If you don't have any, outside game going, get to the rim, get to the free throw line. And there weren't a lot of free throw shots in this game on either end for the Warriors or the Celtics. But it's definitely alarming when your best player isn't getting the most shots or isn't being aggressive, isn't getting to the free throw line at least, I expect at least that.
Yeah.
At least some, signs of that that I'll see that you're trying to, but it didn't even seem like he was in a state where he was going to even try to get to the free throw line. He was complaining about calls that were barely any contact, if any. You can't do that at this level, at this stage. Mm-hmm. At this far point in the series, it's you're gonna get hard pressed to get every foul call that you want. It's just the reality of the game.
It is. And just to further your point about the bench and how terrible they were tonight.
Oh man.
Man, all right. They had some of the worst plus minuses. I think Jeff Van Gundy mentioned that they're negative 50, minus 50 in entering the game. So listen up to this though. All right. First of all, Pritchard played 8 minutes. Guess what plus minus he finished with?
In 8 minutes. What?
Minus 20.
In 8 minutes?
In 8 minutes. Minus 20. And that's probably part of that run Golden State went on, because they put Pritchard in earlier than they normally do. That was
Yeah.
part of it. So then Williams played 16 minutes. Well, Williams and White played 16 minutes each. Williams finished with minus 18, and White finished with minus 26. So the bench was terrible, and that's mostly when Golden State made their runs based on what you see here. And plus, they got into foul trouble tonight. Marcus Smart, he finished with 5, but he had some early foul trouble. That did not help him at all. I think, Jason Tatum was in trouble at 1.2. So when you get the fouls, you gotta adjust the rotations and go from there. But it was like whatever he may try to do, it just wasn't working. And I thought they had the depth based on what we've seen. Just the bench has not stepped up at all. They ain't have a consistent 6-man to really help in this series. In previous series, it was like you don't know who might go off. It could be Williams, could be White, could be Pritchard. None of them really showed up this series. So that's another difference. Like you said, the bench was terrible. To not get any contributions, but still, I still put most of the blame on that man right there, Jason Tatum. Because ultimately, he's the superstar. He earned it throughout the playoff run, and we expected more from him. And he played below average. At least Jaylen Brown was more consistent this series. He gave you more consistent numbers. Jason Tatum was just all over the place with the turnovers and barely scoring and the low intensity. And it's a lot. It's gonna be a long off season for him.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Very long off season. But I think I'm at peace now. I think I said everything I want to say. And again, just to clarify, I'm not even a Celtics fan. I was trying to defend my pick, but they ain't show up for me. I'm an OKC fan. We're not even in this discussion right now. So, it's all good. But let's get into, let's talk about what does this mean for Curry's legacy before we end it tonight. So,
yep.
He got the ring, the 4th ring. He got Finals MVP, which is well deserved. A lot of people could argue that he deserved it back in 2015 over Iguodala. Some people argue that, like, they were wrong in giving him that. Some people say that. It's your opinion. However, what does this mean for Curry's legacy now? He has it. He won the title and the MVP. A lot of media personalities out there was like, okay, yeah, this definitely puts him in like top 10 status and top and potentially Mount Rushmore status. What's your opinion on that? Where is Steph Curry now as far as his legacy goes?
I wouldn't be so quick to say Mount Rushmore. That's something that you and I have talked about in the past with, top 5 and how to categorize each player and everything. But I think that we are seeing, no doubt, one of the greatest players of our generation.
Okay.
No doubt. I think Steph is, as Stephen A. Smith famously is quoted, the greatest shooter God has ever created. There's no one that I would pick over him in a shooting competition. And I think that he is, the accolades, speak for themselves already. Even before the Finals MVP and this 4th ring, he had 3 NBA championships, 2-time MVP, the first unanimous MVP, multiple All-Stars, multiple All-NBA teams. Just think of them all. He's the number 1 3-pointers made. He's the number 1 guy. Like, I don't think his greatness can be denied. And I think that this easily can, shift him into, if you want to categorize it, I would say like top 10 for sure. I don't know what number that means, but maybe in a future future podcasts, you and I can, break down our top 10. But I definitely think that he could be in consideration for top 10 at least off of this championship and having that finals MVP and every other accolade that I just named. Plus, I'm pretty sure he has others too. So definitely think that this is just, boosted his legacy up. And I can't wait to see, how he finishes it. He's now tied for championships with, let me see, somebody else has 4 is Shaq. He's, in that category because I think that Shaq can be considered a top 10 player of all time as well. Yeah, that's my thoughts, man. I think he's definitely amongst the top 10 players of all time, if you think about it.
Yeah, I think we both agree. Wherever tier he was before, he's definitely moved up now. No matter how you may have ranked him, you gotta recognize it. You gotta move him up. He'll always be known as like you said, the greatest shooter with all his accolades from 3-point. His legacy is already kind of set from that. Like the only way he can impact his legacy now is by winning more championships at this point. And now since he has Finals MVP, that puts him ahead of some other people. Because it's like, oh, now you may enter into this other room now, because you have that accolade. So he's definitely got to be. So just to be clear, for you, he's definitely top 10 now, right?
I think he could be considered in the top 10.
So you're still kind of on the fence then. So he's not really top 10 for you.
And it's not because I don't think he can be. I don't think he deserves it. I have to sit and think about who I have to pick in the top 10 because when I'm just rattle off some names, not in any specific order, but I'm thinking Michael Jordan, Kobe, Kareem, LeBron, Wilt, Shaq, Bill, Steph. I mean, those are like the names that come to my head, and I'm thinking like, is he in that same category? Are there players better than him that I should put ahead before I put him in the top 10? But
yeah, some players that thought you didn't say Magic.
I didn't see. That's what I'm saying. So, I gotta sit and think about it.
But he's gotta be like, I don't know. Okay, I guess I'm with you. You gotta at least be considered for top 10 now.
He has to be considered.
He gotta be considered for top 10.
The only reason I'm like, oh, let's pump the brakes where I say, oh, Steph Curry is the top 10 player of all time, because I'm thinking, like you said, I didn't say Magic. So I named off like maybe 8 or 9 players, or 7 or 8 players, but that's where my mind goes. And I think that if I'm like, based off of recency bias and seeing him comparison to some players I didn't like grow up and see, I think he is in that consideration.
All right, let's consider this. What was Giannis for you?
You mean like all time?
Yeah, where's Giannis for you?
Oh, he's not top 10 all time yet. I think
where is he right now for you then?
Top 25.
Okay, got you. Because he won Finals MVP.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to see where you had him. But the difference between him and Curry is that Curry definitely has more, and he has more career numbers than Giannis right now. So
He was 1-4 in comparison to Giannis.
I was trying to see, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think, but of course, in today's NBA,
yeah,
I think we both agree Steph is like definitely like, all right, is Steph the best player in the NBA right now? I think this is another conversation because this is going to come up too.
Yeah, that's true.
Is Steph better than LeBron? Is Steph better than Giannis? Those are the conversations people are about to have. So,
yeah, for sure.
What are you thinking here? Is he finally better than LeBron? Because I know we tried to do that back in like 2016. After he won those back-to-back MVPs, people were trying to push him above LeBron until LeBron won again in that 2016 finals. So it's like,
as of right now, I still, man, I'm on the hot seat. I'm gonna say.
Hey, remember, we got a sponsor too, man. You gotta think about the sponsor.
You're right. You're right. Steph Curry.
All right.
Is he the best player in the NBA right now?
Right now.
Right now, I'm going to say that he is not the best player in the NBA currently.
Ooh, okay.
But he's, obviously an easy number 2, number 3, if we have to say like a rank.
Okay, who number 1 then?
I still think that Kevin Durant.
Oh, really?
Even though he had a bad, I know I'm gonna take some fire on that one because he did have a bad playoff series.
I wasn't expecting you to say Kevin Durant's name. I thought you'd probably say Giannis or LeBron just because he's LeBron, but I was not expecting KD.
I just think that KD is so unstoppable. You know what I mean? Like I think that his game, the way he scores, the efficiency in which he scores, puts him at a different category. Because if I'm taking an individual player, if I have to pick between a Giannis versus a KD, I'm gonna pick KD because I feel like KD can individually do a little bit more. If I'm looking at based on an individual basis, but if I'm looking at a team basis, when LeBron has a good team, you got to put him in consideration. Giannis, obviously, what he's able to do on both ends of the floor, and also be a facilitator for his team. I have to take that in consideration. You got to take Steph into consideration because he's also a playmaker. So I'm just looking at the individuals and like their games in comparison, and I pick KD because of what I know he's going to do on a night in, night out basis.
Yeah, I mean, the question isn't who is the best scorer, though. I think everybody can agree that KD is the best scorer. Best player implies, just where they are right now, like you consider overall game, true, but it's like, I don't know, because you could argue that because Giannis is a better defender than both of them. It's a tough conversation to have because I definitely agree KD's the best scorer.
Okay.
No argument there because how the different ways he can score. I think best players. I think best player NBA. It all depends on. Since he won Finals MVP, you gotta give him some type of nod though, just like we did Giannis when he won. I think we both agree when Giannis won. I think we both agree that he was the best player at that time.
Well, I think I took the question wrong there because I did think of like individually, like each player.
I mean, not if they play a game of 1-on-1 who will win. No.
Okay. I get
it's just like the status of like, just the status like who has, I guess basically who has the crown right now, basically.
Well, in that case, I will give it to Steph because I think if you take Steph out of this equation, they don't get to the championship. And same way with the other guys I named too. They don't; those teams don't function the same. But just the sheer volume of what they do for their team and the impact it has on the league, I think Steph should be in that consideration. Then, if we're taking it that way,
and we could take it the other way too, just to be fair. Because if you consider overall game, I mean, yeah, he wouldn't be in the category because the size is the factor. Athleticism, different ways you can score, so it would definitely be KD still. I would put Giannis in there, conversation still LeBron because he had a good season himself, although he's older. But I think those are still like the top 3 best overall players, and we've seen Luka coming out, and like he's not there yet, but he's coming. There's some other players that are like coming, but like I think it's those 3 still because of the overall game.
Yeah.
So in that case, who's the best overall? So you say KD, right? Because he can do some things
overall,
defensively. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a slight edge over Steph in defense still.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. It's just hard to, it's just hard to say when you have a 7-foot guard that can do what he does.
True.
LeBron, father time out here, still looking like 06 right now.
I guess we gotta have this conversation again at some point. Like, what's the definition of best? Because you can categorize in so many different ways. Because KD is the most skilled, sure, or like best. Who's the best scorer, best defender, or the most skilled? What does it mean to be the best though? Does that mean like is it determined by impact? Because Steph, you can argue he has some of the biggest impact on the game just because how far he can stretch a defense, and his and how much of a danger he can be on the offensive side.
Yeah,
that's a conversation we have because we'll probably spend a while on that. Like, what does it mean by best? What does it mean? And better player. We got the all season coming up. We can get into that eventually. So it's tough. I mean, that's a conversation to have. But Steph right now, I think we both agree in the NBA is top. You say top 3? What'd you say right now? Top 3?
Yeah,
he's definitely top 3. Definitely top 3. Absolutely. And then the other day we got to literally break down the top 10 all time for us, and we got to get into that point guard conversation again because that's a whole different beast. Because there are other point guards that have more championships than him. There are some point guards that have more Finals MVPs than him. So it's like you got to break all that down too to really solidify where he is. But we both agree that he is a tier above where he was, and you got to consider him for at least, if you're not a fan of the Warriors, you got to at least acknowledge that he's like one of the best players right now, at least top 3. I think we both agree on that. Exactly where, we'll have another conversation about that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one.
Yeah, we will have to spend all night talking about that. So yeah, again, shout out to Steph Curry. It was definitely well deserved. And the Warriors are here. The worst fears are realized, although Clay hasn't been Clay yet. Now, Clay comes back. It's Clay like next season. It's over.
I mean, they just won it. He wasn't very impactful.
He wasn't.
He averaged 17 in the finals, coming off of a 2-year hiatus.
Andrew Wiggins was very effective, and he kind of coming out party. And
the all-star.
We gotta talk about one day too about what does all this mean for KD. They won with Andrew Wiggins.
Oh man,
they won with Andrew Wiggins, man. So that kind of helps the argument of like they ain't really need you because they won with Andrew Wiggins. And that they could have put anybody in that third spot.
Yeah, that was Harrison Barnes before KD.
It was Harrison Barnes before. That kind of helps their argument. And that kind of goes along with the thing they were talking about all night with how this is building and how this was built. And that's a conversation.
The most unique system in the NBA. I don't think there's any organization that has had a core of players as long as they have at this certain tenure in the league, and they haven't really, for the most part, they've been playing that system for a long time under Steve Kerr, previously Mark Jackson, who helped build up that foundation to what they are today. So, different level, man. They're different on all levels: players, coaching, organization. They've been doing this for a while.
And we haven't even seen they could be even better because we still haven't seen Wiseman. Moody played like some late minutes here and there. Man, he showed something. Kuminga, they still have some pieces to really be like another dynasty. We'll see. I'm gonna hold off on the dynasty part. We gotta see where they go, cause you can't call them a dynasty again when they were just out the playoffs.
Right.
You can't call it a dynasty again. I mean, granted, yeah, they were hurt, but we'll see. You gotta see where they are next year before I call them a dynasty again. But if I'm a Western Conference fan, or you have a team in the Western Conference, I'll definitely be worried.
Definitely. And yeah, like you said, they aren't even at full strength. We have a draft coming up, the NBA, and moves to be made still. So we'll get into it more. But
yeah, we get to that as closer it goes too. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Overall, man, I'm
overall. How was this finals to you overall?
It wasn't bad, man. It was going up against a former heavyweight champion, and the new kids on the block. They were, trying to make a name for themselves, and it was cool to see. Shout out to the Celtics for making it and advancing to the finals for the first time in 12 years. Shout out to them, and they'll be back at some point. Maybe not next year. But we'll see. Because my Heat are coming back. Just saying. And I do think, like you said, the Warriors will be back potentially, as long as health, and they still have Steph Curry. So.
Oh yeah, as long as they stay healthy and they can implement some more of those younger guys, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
And Wiseman can be who a lot of people think he can be. He will definitely raise the ceiling for him, and they just won a championship, so that means they'll be almost unstoppable based on how he develops and how he plays. Because he could be a factor. Like he had potential to shoot from the outside, inside, and be a good rim protector.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll see how he turns out. And they're a good development squad. Look at Jordan Poole.
A 6-man presence.
And that's another person you gotta be worried about. another beta Steph Curry almost. But he made some shots tonight too that were like it's Jordan Poole, so. And he can only get better too. He just gotta work on his defense. But he's still very effective. I would have him on my squad any day. So
yeah.
Oh, one more thing. We gotta shout out Draymond Green before we hop off. We gotta acknowledge him. He had a good game tonight. He was fired up. Awesome threes that he made. Very fired up. Yeah.
You mean the single three that he made?
Yeah. Well, did he make two?
He made a mid-range jumper.
Oh, okay. Got you. Well, yeah.
His perimeter shots. We'll put it that way. Perimeter shots.
Yeah, perimeter shots.
No, Draymond was big in tonight's game.
He was 2 for 5 from 3. He made 2 up.
Oh, he made 2. Okay.
Yeah, he made 2. Yeah, he
made an impact in the game in other ways.
He had a better impact in this game. He almost had a triple-double. He finished with 12, and 8.
Nice.
5 turnovers though, but
yeah, man.
Still,
that's what stars in their roles do. You step up when you need it the most, and then we had everyone, including his own mom, what's going on with Draymond, and he came out, he responded well. So shout out to him for sticking to it and coming out playing hard. Got them a win.
Yeah, when he pushes the ball, he's like, that's when he's at his best for sure.
Yes.
So, those are our thoughts on the finals, Game 6. I was really hoping this would be pushed to Game 7. That's why I'm kind of That's why I'm just kind of like, it's just kind of like a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I was hoping for a Game 7 at least, because we had a pretty exciting series last year with the Bucks and the Suns. It actually went 7 games. It went. Wait, no, it didn't. But I guess because it was closer, it was like, it was closer, and there were more memorable plays from that than this, because this was just trash Celtics the whole past 3 games. They lost 3 games in a row.
Wait, yeah, they did.
3 games in a row. You can't do that.
Yeah,
that's why it left a bad taste in my mouth just watching these finals. But all right, shout out to the Warriors. Good job, Celtics. Better luck next time if you get there. I'm definitely going to consider picking the Celtics for anything else until I see
something. I picked the Warriors. That's all I'm saying. I got one right, and I redeemed myself for the other picks I blew up and you got right. So
you got it though. But appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Won.
You did. Appreciate y'all for tuning in though. Catch the podcast on all podcast platforms. Check out the YouTube. We appreciate the views. Appreciate the likes and the increased subscriber count. Appreciate y'all. We'll be live Saturday talking about the more recent news that's just happened. The Mavs pulled off a huge trade. We got to talk about that Saturday. And some other things that's going on around the NBA. So y'all stay tuned from that. And yeah, this is QtheGuru. I'm signing off.
Yeah, quick shout out to SS96. You see the merch. You see us out here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for rocking with us through the finals. Hope y'all enjoy it. Hope y'all are enjoying the content. Shout out to Q for all these great videos, man. And make sure y'all hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell. Follow us on Spotify, man. Follow us on Anchor, everywhere. We're out here. We appreciate it, man. We'll catch y'all on the next one.
Peace.
What up? Thank you for tuning in to the Swish Masters Podcast, and thank you to our sponsor, SS96. Visit ss96.net and use the promo code Swish Masters for 15% off. Yeah, that's right. You heard me right. 15% off on all store items. Hats, hoodies, t-shirts, whatever you need, SS96 has it. Also, don't forget to go and check out that music from Straight Stoner, produced by yours truly. You know what it is, Gut Gang, mobbing, sleepwalking. We out here. Thank you.